I feel like crying. I feel like crying, honestly speaking. Raising my two children all by myself without the support of their father, I feel like I'm alone in this. I don't understand. How is it for men to just walk away without looking back, asking about their children, giving me money? I get nothing.
Raising kids alone, no money, no support. And she's genuinely shocked. But who picked this man? Who had kids with him? The choices we make don't disappear just because we regret them later. The mirror never lied.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying?
She literally answers her own question and still doesn't get it. You pulled the trigger, now you're crying about the bullet. That's not tragedy, that's just consequences showing up on schedule.
Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either.
Never loved anyone like him, but filed anyway. Love wasn't the problem, the decision was, and now grief is doing what grief does, editing out all the bad parts and leaving only the highlights.
But I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
So please ignore my hair. We've been outside all day enjoying the beautiful weather. I first want to start out by saying I'm so sorry that you are currently going through that. It is so hard. It was one of the hardest time periods of my life so far, for many, many reasons, but through the divorce, the separation, divorce, all the things was very, very hard. And one thing that I want to say is that I'm not at all, when I'm sharing our experience of getting divorced and then getting back together, saying that it is for everyone or that's what everyone should do or anything like that. I think sometimes people get that idea. However, sometimes I like sharing it for that reason because, you know, it may be the same for you, but I know, like I said, sometimes it's better not to. And so I kind of want to share, if you are not getting back together, well, and I was for a long time in a place where I did not think that was going to be the case. And honestly, some words of encouragement that I can share for you that helped me through that time period is it really showed me, I thought that I always have believed in God, but I thought that I had a pretty strong faith, but it really tested my faith because I just had to really lean in. And so that was number one, really leaning into my faith, and just finding community at my church was so helpful. I ended up finding people that had went through the same thing and were able to kind of help me when I was going through that. So that really helped. So leaning into God, community of people that I met, and whether it be, you know, friends, working out often helped me too, because when you're feeling all the emotions, working out really does help.
Okay, she's actually spitting real advice here. Faith, community, working out, podcasts, focusing on yourself. Those aren't soft suggestions. Those are daily habits that literally rebuild a broken life. Write it down.
To kind of just help you through some of that. I also listened to some podcasts of people that had been through the same situations. Really helped me. And the next thing was really just focusing on my kids, but then also like myself. It's really hard when you have kids to sometimes make that time for yourself, but really, really important that you somehow make time and focus on yourself and what you also need in that moment, and not necessarily be selfish, but a little bit like just make sure you are getting what you need in that time period, and allow yourself to feel feelings. You know, I know sometimes I wouldn't want to cry because my kids or whatever, and you need to allow yourself to feel those feelings. So that is another thing, like allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, and just really focus on, like I said, yourself and what you need also.
Get ready with me while we do a little story time on the reconciliation with my ex-husband. Okay, so you guys already know that Cody and I were divorced and separated for 20 months before we reconciled. So I'm just gonna start from there. I always had a really good co-parenting relationship. I came from parents who were divorced and they were high conflict, and it was really hard. Oh my God, I put so much of this on there. We're really gonna have to blend this in. Anyway, last spring we went on a co-parenting relationship, and by this time Cody had been sober for over 6 months now, and I just saw him in a completely new light, and that maybe we can try again. Really, I kind of fought it in the beginning because when you go through a divorce, it is so emotionally hard. There's a lot of shame surrounding it, and I just didn't know if it would work out. I didn't know if I could trust him again. I didn't know if the changes were long lasting. I didn't want to be judged by my community on social media or my family. Everyone has their own opinions and kind of projects their own stuff on you.
She almost didn't reconcile with a man who got sober and completely changed because she feared internet judgment. That's one of the scariest things about living life online. Strangers start making your decisions for you.
So I just didn't really want to deal with that. Neither of us were dating anyone at the time, and truthfully, neither of us had had any type of serious relationship. We had each gone on a couple first dates, but we had never been intimate with anyone else. I think that definitely helped our situation as well. I've been yapping for a really long time. I don't know how people do these get ready with me and can do 2 things at once and keep it under a minute.
Why does everything go in his favor when I'm the struggling parent? Does that judge not see this? The judge denied it. He said we'll leave it for trial, which is set for March 17th, the day before my birthday. Does he not see that this man just doesn't want to be in my children's life? I gave him all the proof, everything. Why do things not go in my favor? Why? My kids are mine. I'm the present parent. I'm the one caring for them. I'm the one staying up with them when they're sick at night. I'm the one running to appointments. I'm the one going to parent-teacher conference. I'm the one missing work because I need to take care of my kids. Why does the judge not see that?
Sitting in her car crying because the judge didn't rule her way. But courts don't run on emotion. They run on evidence. If you're in a custody battle, you need a paper trail and a lawyer, not tears.
Oh, this couple just got married. Hopefully you respect your wife and you don't leave her alone with your kids. It took 2 people to make those children, and I'm all on my own, and it's fine. But give me sole physical custody. Just give me custody. He doesn't want it. It's obvious. Life is crazy, y'all. I'm here outside the courthouse, sitting in my car crying, going through a divorce, trying to fight the custody of my children. And there's a couple that just walks out happily married. I was as happy as she was one day.
I think about my 8-year-old daughter's reaction to us getting divorced all of the time because it was the thing I was dreading the most, and honestly, probably a big reason why I waited so many years to actually make that decision. I was so terrified because, especially in the Christian church, you are taught basically from such a young age that people that get divorced ruin their kids. My therapist friend suggested going on a walk with her rather than sitting her down in our home because sometimes that can feel really overwhelming, like they're in trouble. And so it was nice to be out in the fresh air. It was such a beautiful sunny day. So the 3 of us are on this walk, and I start by just saying, so Mom and Dad have something we want to share with you. Our family's going to be changing. And she stops me in my tracks and says, wait. "You're not pregnant, right?" Like the most scared, terrified look at her face. She's like, "I cannot go through that again." I was like, "No, no, no, no. Actually, it's gonna look a lot different than that." And she was like, "Thank God." So I start by talking about how me and dad love each other and how we're always gonna be a family. And she's like, "Can you just spit it out?" And I was like, "You know what? You're right. Let me just tell you." So me and dad are not gonna live together anymore. You're gonna live in one place with dad and I'm gonna live in another place. And she goes, "So you're telling me I get 2 bedrooms to decorate?"
Kid reaction of the year. And it proves kids are resilient, but only when parents handle it right. No fighting, no bad mouthing, just honesty and stability. That little girl felt safe because her parents showed up correctly.
"Yeah, sweetie, you do. You're so welcome." And she was so stoked. Me and James look at each other like, does she know what this means? And so I try to explain it more, like, okay, you know how you're married and 2 people love each other and it's like a romantic love. I was like, that won't be me and dad any longer. And so she asked like a few questions, and I know this is going to be a processing journey. I'm sure over time she'll have more and more questions. And then we gave her a watch that she can like text and call us on, and that made her even more excited. So it was just overall such a great conversation, and we all prayed after and hugged, and honestly it just fills my heart because even now, months later, she has been so mature and honestly so understanding of this whole thing. I don't know how I got so lucky with a daughter like her. She's just the best. I had been dreading this for so long. And sometimes, you know, those things that feel like your biggest fear and something that is going to be the worst thing that ever happens, we always work it up so much in our heads. And sometimes it turns out better than you ever expected. She's always been very strong, very independent. And so I couldn't have asked for a better reaction, especially going through something so hard as a family. I will always be here to hear her, understand her feelings, and try to offer my support in any way I can. But it just made me sit back and be like, you know what? I think we might just be okay.
It feels so stupid to be crying over this, but because, you know, so many people have such like much harder lives, but I don't know, I feel like I work so hard and I try to please everyone, make everyone else around me so happy, and who takes care of me, you know. Single family home, loving partner, and 2 kids. That's all I want, and why is that so hard for me? Because I'm sitting alone in this messy house, alone, I guess waiting for people to start showing up. It's very emotional. Yeah, I was supposed to start moving at 9, and it's almost 11. I'm moving today, hopefully, for the 3rd time in the past 4 years since the divorce, to another rental. It's very emotional for me. I thought by now I would be, you know, remarried and moving into a single family home that would have been my forever home.
3rd rental in 4 years, moving alone, no forever home. This is the part they never show in the I chose myself highlight reel. The lonely mornings, the messy house, rebuilding from zero. Not pretty, but she's still moving. That counts. 3rd rental in 4 years. Moving alone, no forever home. This is the part they never show in the I chose myself highlight reel. The lonely mornings, the messy house, rebuilding from zero. Not pretty, but she's still moving. That counts.
So that alone is already very, I don't know, it's very emotional for me. But my moving company, I was gonna use Roadway Moving, that one moving company that all the influencers use. I confirmed with them. Apparently I didn't. I hadn't heard back from them since Wednesday, so I thought it was all set. I messaged them Friday afternoon asking if it's confirmed. Don't hear back. This morning I called the customer service because they're not here. Apparently they sent me multiple messages asking me to confirm further. I don't know what else they needed me to confirm. The cleaner that helps me pack, she got stopped by the police on the way, so they're sending me somebody else. Luckily, I was able to sell some stuff from Marketplace. 3 people came by and grabbed their stuff. Facebook Marketplace is the only thing I think that's been positive today. PG&E, which I need to set up again. It has a phone number that's 1 number off, so I probably put in the incorrect phone number, so I need to call them and update that. I don't know how long the wait might be. With renter's insurance, I was just gonna add renter's insurance on top of my Progressive car insurance, which I've been pretty happy with. They're getting errors. She's supposed to call me back to resolve. I didn't want to move again. This is such a first world problem. Everything's falling apart, it feels like. One of my goals is to show more vulnerable side on social media because I think people think my life is perfect. I'm excited about the new home. I'm getting a lot of new furniture. I used an interior design service for the first time. So let's see how that goes. It'll pass. We're in early December. I think things are gonna get better.